Okay, now let us see what happens further in the story when the old lady she blamed the goldsmith. Now, poor thing, she's absolutely right, thought the king. Weighing the evidence, we have got the real culprit at last. Get the goldsmith wherever he is hiding at once. So now the king ordered his bailiffs, his soldiers, to bring the goldsmith. The king's bailiffs searched for the goldsmith who was hiding in a corner of his shop. When he heard the accusation against him, he had his own story to tell. Now goldsmith had his own story to tell to the king, his reasons. My lord, he said, I am a poor goldsmith. It's true, I made this dancer come many times to my door. I gave her excuses because I couldn't finish making her jewelry before I finished the rich merchant's order. That means at that time, he gave the reason that he was busy in making a rich merchant's jewelry. So he made that dancing girl to come again and again to his door. They had a wedding coming and they wouldn't wait. You know how impatient rich men are? Who is this merchant who kept you from finishing this poor woman's jewelry, made her walk up and down, which distracted this bricklayer, which made a mess of his wall, which has now fallen on an innocent man and killed him? Can you name him? Can you name that rich merchant? So the goldsmith named the merchant, and he was none other than the original owner of the house whose wall had fallen. So again the story came round towards that merchant. Now justice had come full circle, thought the king. Back to the merchant. When he was rudely summoned back to the court, he arrived crying. When the merchant was called again to the court, he came crying. It wasn't me, but my father who ordered the jewelry. He is dead. I am innocent. The merchant had his own story now. No, he's saying, I didn't order that jewelry. My father had ordered that jewelry and he is dead now. The one who is culprit, he is dead. I am innocent, just leave me. You cannot punish me for that sin which I have not done. But the king consulted his ministers and ruled decisively. It's true, your father is the true murderer. He is dead, but somebody must be punished in his place. You have inherited everything from that criminal father of yours, his riches as well as his sins. I knew at once, even when I first set eyes on you, that you were at the root of this horrible crime. You must die. So here finally the king has taken his decision, because according to him, someone should be punished. If his father is dead who has done the murder, he was the murderer and culprit, he is dead, but someone should be punished. So his son should be punished. Why? Because if he inherited his riches, everything from his father, so he has also inherited his sins from him. So his wrong deed, sins means wrong deed, so he should be punished for his father's sins. So he should die. And he ordered a new stake to be made ready for the execution. So he ordered a new stake. New stake means a thing where a rectangular frame where the person is hanged, where the person is executed. So that stake was ordered. As the servant sharpened the stake and got it ready for the final impaling of the criminal, it occurred to the minister that the rich merchant was somehow too thin to be properly executed on the stake. But when the stake was ready and brought into the court for that merchant to get punished, the minister found that the stake was big one, okay, and the merchant was little bit thin. He didn't fit in that stake. He appealed to the king's common sense. The king too worried about it. So here minister interrupted and he said, we should not punish this merchant. He is thin and he is not fitting in that stake. The king also said, okay, let's see what to do. So what shall we do? He said, when suddenly it struck him that all they needed to do was to find a man fat enough to fit the stake. As I told you, this was a kingdom of fools. So the minister was not fitting in that stake. So the king was thinking to bring another person from the kingdom who would fit in that stake. Okay. The servants were immediately sent all over the town looking for a man who would fit in the stake. And their eyes fell on the disciple Remember the disciple who had fattened himself for months on bananas and rice and wheat and ghee. So finally the case came on the disciple. The guru suggested him not to stay in the kingdom of fools. You don't know what they would do next to you. So now the case came to this disciple, and they arrested the disciple because he was fat enough to fit in that stick. What happened further, the last part of the story we'll see in our next video. Thank you.